role which has human identity. But in B2E, we are focusing on joiners, movers, leavers. Always remember that. In B2B is authenticating your organization employees with your partners, vendors, or authenticating your partner's vendor to your applications. So you, as an organization, need to connect to your business partners irrespective of which industry you're in. So this is really about making sure that members of your supply chain can interact with you. You are giving them the apps, and hopefully they are showing up with their own identity. And that's very important. In B2E, HR, your HR was the authoritative source of your identity, or every employer contractor identity. But in B2B space, the partner system of record is like their HR system is the authoritative record, not your HR system. When we talk about B2C, now it's about business to consumers, which are the use case where you all fit in right now. As an organization, every organization's goal is basically to deliver enriched customer experience by accurately identifying, knowing, and engaging their customers across multiple channels. So in order to build and maintain digital relationship with your customers, you will have to connect to your consumers or customers. You'll have to collect information from your customers, and you need to protect that information and give seamless user experience. And the information you are collecting, and that's where all the privacy laws come in. What can you do with that information, consent and whatnot. So it means you have to build processes and configure technology so that you can really achieve the required seamless user experience. So these are the 3 use cases I wanted to talk about. In 5 minutes, we'll take a 5-minute break. Let's talk about what makes up IAM, right? So that's extremely important because we should know what IAM means. What are the components? These 3 domains make up IAM: identity governance and administration, privilege access management, and authentication and authorization. You can also say access management and authentication. These are the 3 capabilities which make IAM. But underneath these capabilities, now you have tools and processes and technologies and policies and people with roles and responsibilities. So all those things are beneath it. And that's how I said in this session, I'm not going to talk about any technology, any technical stack discussion. But this, I call it a capability, and I don't call it a technology, because technology means a tool here, right? I'm talking about people, process, technology underneath all these. Now, what you could do if you want to see what tools are there in your organization, what processes are they manual, are they automated? What is the maturity level? What do you think? And this thing, it can impact user experience, operational efficiency, and security, all 3. Privilege access management. What is the tool? What are the processes? Are there defined processes? Maturity. If somebody wants privileged access, what is the end-to-end process? And how do we manage privileged identities? Credential rotation. What are the policies? And for authentication authorization, what is the tool? What is the process? What is the maturity? You might come to know that in IGA space, your tool is a homegrown tool and highly customized tool, a lot of technical debt, and you will automatically know what the maturity is. So this is kind of just to give you an idea about what's going on there. Now, what does IGA does? IGA helps us. So this is an identity governance component, and so IGA's full form is identity governance and administration. So you can do identity management in a spreadsheet also, but governance is a whole different ball of wax. So modern governance solution do not only make sure that accounts are properly synchronized with an organization's cloud, internal directories, and mailbox service, but when leveraged correctly, they can really do much more than this. And there are the 4 reasons an organization must use IGA, and they have to use IGA, I would say. One is, whenever I've spoken to different industry leaders, and from my own experience working in cybersecurity and IAM, every leader wants to save money and bring in efficiencies. By implementing an IGA tool, you can do that. And leaders want to consolidate all of the access, in a single place. They want to automate it, want to make it easier, more efficiencies, cheaper to provide and manage access across different to various entitlements. So in nutshell, the first and foremost reason is automation streamlining. Second reason is security and risk. Organizations have concern about levers and having their access removed in a timely manner. Often without an IGA, processes and technology, levers won't be handled well and timely. And also, movers won't be handled well too. Movers are people move roles within an organization, moving from one role to another. And when they move role, they keep picking up more and more entitlements and privileges because maybe there's no policy to strip away the previous privileges. And without an IGA tool, movers use case cannot be managed well. Third reason is business enablement. So IGA is a very powerful tool, and it is a business enabler. So using it, your staff, your employees can, they can carry out self-serve activities. They will be able to request their own access. They'll be able to more easily collaborate and work with others, getting just the right access at the right time. All done automatically, very efficiently, supporting your business processes. Final reason is compliance. And I did talk about compliance, if you remember, in one of the slides. But I would say with IGA, it will help you meet your audit requirements because it will support all the logs and records and will keep in all details. It will help you answer who has got access to what, who requested access, who approved access, and when was it provisioned and when was it rectified. So it can answer all those questions. And all those kind of information or pieces of information will be recorded in a form that will be auditable, that would help you support either an audit or possibly a breach or an investigation where you are trying to understand what happened, what access was there, and why. IGA mainly responsibility of management? No, IGA is responsibility for an identity and access management team. It's not, this is people, process, technology, and in IGA, for IGA, because identities, lifecycle management of employee identities, HR is an authoritative source. So HR is one of the most important stakeholders and critical stakeholders. So VM, I would need more clarity on your question. You said responsibility of management. What do you mean by what management you're talking about? Okay, I think we should take 5 minutes break. First of all, do you all want to take a break? I'm okay. I can go on if you want, or should we take a break? Say yes or no. Maybe I can use some tool. Because I want to do one exercise after this with I can't. Yes, break. Okay, break. Let's take 5-minute break and we'll come back. 5-minute break. Okay, I will push 5-minute break. And put in comments if you think, yes, Harpreet, it's going well. Keep going. Push to audience. Okay, I think. Welcome back, everyone. Just give me a thumbs up if you're back. We can start, I guess. Okay, great. We can start. Excellent. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Appreciate it. Okay, let's talk about PAM, which is another component, principle of least privilege. Now, someone or something should have the minimum rights required to carry out a specific task. That is what privilege access management is all about. Now, in today's complex IT environment, I would say PAM is arguably a most critical cybersecurity control because it's all about the keys to the kingdom, the privileged access. So if privileged accounts are not managed with appropriate controls, they can become compromised by an external malicious actor or internal actors. That means a rogue administrator. And both can lead to destructive damage unless they are spotted and stopped quickly. So PAM processes and technology is implemented to protect privileged accounts. It means it is implemented to reduce the attack surface. Because if somebody has privileged account, see what's going to happen, right? And their intentions are not good. So it's extremely important to keep a good governance over the privileged accounts. And that's what you could do by implementing a privilege account management capability. Just give me a second. I don't know why the break. I don't know why this is not working. Just give me a second, everyone, if you can hear me. I'm trying to push the slide and it's not going. Can you see the slide? PAM helps us to comply with regulations, enhance security risk and management, and enable the business to run faster. So I will move to another slide. You can hear me, you can see the slide. Okay, authentication and access management. This is the third capability we were talking about. And we know what authentication does. If we interact with authentication mechanisms, and we do it every day, you did it while authenticating to O'Reilly platform, you enter your username, password, and depending upon if it is MFA, you put your PIN, fingerprint, and that way you authenticate. And once your identity is verified, and then access control is implemented to determine what kind of access you have. For example, in O'Reilly platform, you might not have access to something admin level, right? So you're not authorized to do that. And if you think of Office 365 admin portal, there's a role which provides permission to be a global admin and the other permission to be a global leader. So, and global admin is authorized to make changes, but global leader will only have read access. So that is where the authorization comes in, that you're authenticated, but now based on what you should have access, you're authorized to only access that. Now, all the three capabilities we discussed so far will help you in delivering business value by enabling processes at a rapid speed and low cost, because that's what we talked about all the time. We talked about operational efficiencies, we talked about user experience and security and compliance requirements, and these all capabilities will help you build, all those or mature those requirements, or to meet those requirements, I believe. Now, the next important question. IAM is hard. And if you talk with anyone, any leaders, identity and access management is hard. And why it's hard? One of the most important reasons is that it touches everyone in the organization. But as soon as we step into this topic, we are bombarded by a number of terms. And I have not put in all the terms here, these terms can be complex and confusing. For example, we were talking about SSO and federation, right? Authentication, identity proofing, tokenization, provisioning, deprovisioning, privileged account access, all those things, right? Just-in-time access, privilege escalation, and all those things. Each term can be a long and involved topic of discussion. Now, these multiple components processes that very, very complex made the IAM landscape difficult to understand and an IAM program difficult to develop and communicate to management. Because basically, until you can, leaders know it, they understand it, they are your stakeholders, you won't be able to solve any problem. It depends what level they are and what level you want them to understand those concepts. Because again, there's a technical level, business level, logical, conceptual level, logical level, and component level. That it all depends on that. So that's the one reason why it's hard. Now, another complexity is technical aspect of IAM. There are many type of users. Internal users, employee, contractors, and under contractors, there might be full-time contractor, part-time contractor. Under employers, you will be having full-time, part-time, intern students, co-op students, field workers, contingent workers, so many different kind of user, categories you can have, or use cases you can have. And these users connect to multiple devices. Laptops, mobile phones, rugged laptops. The field workers use rugged laptops sometime in utility companies. Different devices, different operating systems, and they can be, they can come from different network. They can come through cloud or internal LAN, and they connect to different applications, application server, database service, and these users are changing all the time, right? This is a lot of complexity. And then on top of it, these users are changing all the time. They come and go. Access points are changing. Technology environment is changing. You might be thinking of managed service provider. You might be thinking of outsourcing. You might be thinking of taking a cloud application. Technology environment is changing. And then changing roles. People are moving in the same company from one role to another. And then I didn't add it. One thing here, which I should, regulations are changing, becoming more and more stringent. So we're in a constantly changing environment, and that is what makes it very, very hard. Now, next, why IAM program fails to deliver business value? Because IAM programs are difficult, and industry leaders always say, and we already, saw in that first slide where I was, the poll slide where some of the folks said in the audience that their IAM program is not really very successful. Now, most common issue is that IAM program lacks relevant stakeholder representation. And if there is adequate representation, then the stakeholders are not engaged. There are a couple of reasons for that. One is that stakeholders don't get IAM because it's complex. And sometimes maybe stakeholders don't need to get complete IAM because to the level, like the technical level, because they just need to do the business. You just need to enable their business as an IAM leader. So they don't get IAM because it's complex and they don't have the full picture. You have not given the full picture. And the other reason is the IAM leaders have not tried to give the stakeholders a holistic view in a language that stakeholders understand. An HR leader would understand IAM differently than a technology leader. So that means there is a poor communication of the business value delivered by the proposed IAM program. And this is often compounded by a mistrust generated from past technology-focused implementations that didn't address business needs, and business all the time thinks, these guys don't get these technology leaders don't get our requirements, and they just go and do something, and therefore now we're not going through the technology team, and we're going to go and subscribe to our own cloud and whatnot. So basically what happens is we are now again creating silos just by not engaging our stakeholders properly in the way they should be. Another problem is IAM team is not solving the right problem. And IAM teams are pretty good. So I have worked with a lot of pretty technical, SMEs, my consultants while leading the identity and access management program. They're pretty technical, pretty smart people, but they are not necessarily business analysts. They are not necessarily strong business communicators. And the challenge is that sometimes they are the one who are often leading IAM programs. They might be solving technical problems. They might be inward facing into their issues, but they may not be looking out to the wider business and helping solve business problems and business challenges. And the best example I can give you is about movers. It's quite common for many organizations to struggle with movers use case, because when people move from one role to another role within a company, it's quite common for them to build up and collect piece of access over the years and not have it removed as they change roles, the user change roles. And some organization buy an IGA tool thinking it will fix it, which it can fix, no doubt about it. Unfortunately, unless IAM leader agreed the principles and policy around movers with the business, it won't fix it. IGA won't fix it. Because you would need to ask your stakeholders, your business leaders, how would they want to handle movers? Does the business want to cut the access as soon as their person goes from one role to another? Or are they looking for an overlap? Maybe the business unit says, we have a regulatory requirement and we cannot, the person moves to another role in another business unit, cut the access. But another business unit might say, sorry, we have resourcing problem. We don't have any regulatory requirement. I would like this person to work 50-50. 50% here, 50% here for 1 month. Then you have to have a different policy for that business unit or that entire business unit or an entire team. So it means you can't decide on your own as an IAM team those policies. You really need to understand what business wants. And again, it goes back to the stakeholder engagement. Technology-centric focus is the same thing, we want to, and I've seen it. It's my experience of 17 years. How can we solve this problem? And I've seen technology leaders, security leaders automatically jumping on, okay, let's find out from Gartner or any other Forrester, which is a good tool. Forget the tool. What are you trying to solve? What is the business problem you're trying to solve? That's the first question. GV asked a question, what is IGA, please? Is it a tool? So identity governance administration is a capability which has people, process, technology. However, we have a tool, IGA tools. You would have heard about ForgeRock, Savient, SailPoint. They all have IGA tools. You need tools, certainly you need tool to build all the capabilities. Like, for example, privilege access management, account management. You have CyberArk and Delinea and all those tools. Microsoft has this PIM tool. So yeah, I hope GV answers your question. Okay. Poor program governance. Many IAM programs fail since they don't have adequate governance model. And what governance does, it focuses on establishing a clear set of roles and responsibilities and processes for a decision-making body. Some programs may not have a cross-functional steering committee, no cross-functional operating committee, no clear ownership and responsibility for stakeholders, no clear governance how decision-making would flow. And I have seen IAM roadmaps, and the common pattern I see is the scope of the program is too big. The expectations are set too high with stakeholders and senior leaders. If you go and say to business that I'm building an IGA, let's say IGA, I am bringing an IGA tool, I'm building a capability, and in next year we'll have all automation put in there. Then that's a wrong expectation. That's a very wrong expectation, and business would not be happy because you would not be able to create full automation in 1 year, not at all. So it's extremely important to paint the picture for the business. And it's quite common for the IAM programs to use waterfall approach, where the business can only see the value at the end of the project, that in 12 months we will provide you this. And I wouldn't say that we can use completely agile approach in the IAM projects, because IAM projects, we should use waterfall plus agile, both approaches together, mix those up. But we have to show incremental business value. And okay, I have a question from BE. What does cross-functional means? For example, in a steering committee, if it's a B2B use case, then you should have in IAM program steering committee, you must have HR, human resources, part of that's a cross-functional, right? And then if you're talking about B2C use case, so as an IAM program steering committee, I would have HR, I would have digital team, I would have cloud, VPs, all the VPs in that area, senior leaders in the steering committee. I hope that helps. Now, what happens if we don't do all this? The result is failure to deliver business value. And that's how the IAM programs are not successful. They're not delivering business value. Started project for 12 months or 8 months, and now again, the budget is complete. Like we have consumed all the budget, but we haven't been able to deliver business value. And then again, we are going to steering committee asking to post, we are rescheduling the dates and the work is not done because of this reason. And then what happens? The management gets fed up, and then they ask one of the big fours to come and to help out, to get us out of the mess. But we didn't do foundation or fundamental pieces at the first time, and that's why we are there where we are. Now let's do an exercise. It's a fun one. You have been hired as a CISO or IAM leader in our organization. Now, IAM is not a good state and is impacting employee and customer user experience, operational effectiveness, and security. What first step would you take to fix the IAM state? Write in the chat. Think about it and write in the chat. I'm waiting for your answers. Okay, let me read the comments. Okay, so find out what the business goals and objectives are first. Great answers so far. Great answers. Yeah. Excellent. Excellent. Keep it coming. Pull in all the stakeholders. Okay. I like it. Role-based setup after understanding the current situation. Okay. Okay. Gather information on current situation. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Keep coming, your thoughts. Yeah. So whoever is saying assessment, current state assessment, that is so, so important. And all other your answers can fit into that current state assessment where you're saying, understand what business wants, what the business requirement is. So if I was a leader coming to a company, coming to a company to do a, and the IAM state is not good, the first and foremost thing would be to start with IAM current state assessment, right? But the most important thing would be when you are doing that current state, when you are preparing for that current state assessment, you also start engaging your stakeholders. Because for that IAM current state assessment, who will tell you what the problems are? Who will tell you what the business requirements are? Who will tell you about the pain points? It will be all those people. it's all those people who are, sorry, I'm reading some information here. So all those folks who have pain points, the stakeholders, they will be talking about their issues, their pain points, and they will help you with the IAM current state assessment, right? That what is the, you have to baseline your assessment. And I would, and my next question is, so let me see the comments. Gather information. Action plan. Great. EB, GV, RL, excellent. Like, I'm not saying everyone's name, but great answers. Thank you for that. With an action plan. Great. So action plan, EB, certainly, but again, first, what a baseline the environment. That's very important. And that, I think your all answers are right on. Now, I have the same question. How would you set the scope of the IAM current state assessment? If you let's say, you want to do current state assessment, now, you hire someone, or however you do, how would you set the scope of the IAM current state assessment? Because you have to give somebody who will do the assessment, or even if you will do the assessment, you have to set the scope. How would you do that? So GV, you are saying once we have scope, identify how they're currently logging or current state, and then gaps and room for improvement. Okay. Okay, maybe I can answer, maybe, I'll see what your thoughts are. How would you set the scope of the IAM current state assessment? Use cases. Excellent use cases. Need analysis, use cases. Okay. Compare against an appropriate baseline and framework. Okay. Keep it coming. Based on risk identified with the gaps. Excellent. Great. Based on risk identified with the gaps. That's a good one. Compare against an appropriate framework, yeah? Exactly. Set scope AV, that makes sense. MVP, minimum value, okay. Identified gaps and practice. Excellent. So that is how you will set the scope of the IAM current state assessment. So if I have to answer this is how I will answer this, right? Because when I am doing a current state assessment, I have to set the scope of the IAM assessment, right? So when I'm asking you this question, what I'm asking is, the scope would be, would I be focusing on B2E, B2B, B2C, or would I be focusing on only IGA, or privilege access management, or authentication authorization, all R3? So if I was to do an IAM current state assessment, and now another question I have from you, my scope will depend on what? What is that thing on which my scope will depend on? Maybe two pieces of information on which my scope will depend on. Okay, so I don't see any comment there. Maybe you all are still thinking. So if I have to do an IAM current state assessment, what is critical to